For those that have been following us for a while, you will know that I really like flying starfighters. Even in Galactic Assault, I get great satisfaction from flying around, lining up objectives, and cheaply killing squads of enemies off their spawn. Well, the bad news for me is that this doesn't really work as well anymore, although I'm sure many people are quite happy about it. In fact, vehicles in general are far weaker since the last balance update, and it comes down to a really big change to just one tiny ability: Ion Torpedo. In this video, we shall look over the uses of this star card and some of the specifics about how it functions. This little monster is now in contention for my favourite trooper ability. Available only to the heavy and replacing the impact grenade, this launcher can fire 3 torpedoes now per cooldown. The damage of each individual torpedo has also been increased significantly. And wow, this does make a difference. You can now put some serious pressure on enemy aircraft. The shots are more than capable of taking down anything but a bomber in a single volley, and even then it really takes a pilot's attention off whatever else they were doing. The tracking is supremely powerful. It seems to track much better than standard starfighter missiles, and hits are usually very reliable. With this equipped, LAATs and U-Wing gunships become flying pots of battle points ready for you to collect upon, and those irritating A-Wings will be forced to fear you. But that's only what it can do against starfighters. It is of course equally improved in power against land vehicles, and almost all vehicles can be taken out in a single use of the Ion Torpedo. It can quickly dispose of AATs, ATSTs, and Republic Scout Walkers alike, and speeders of course are a bit of a joke, leaving you with many shots to spare. Again, these targets yield high battle point scores, allowing you to use this to get ahead in a match or farm XP for your heavy. It is almost too easy to trade out for enemy assault vehicles at this point, but you do still have to be aware of your own positioning and intervening cover to your target, and also of where you are in relation to enemy infantry, as you are very vulnerable when targeting the torpedo. Vehicles are not the only targets that you can lock onto, however. Enemy turrets are good to shoot at as well. A single shot should destroy one, and the resulting explosion combined with significant splash damage of the Ion Torpedo itself will severely damage any surrounding infantry. It can also deal significant burst damage against objective targets such as AT-ATs and MTTs. Throughout all of its uses, you will generate a ludicrous amount of score. You can easily top the leaderboard just by using this against aircraft and vehicles every time it comes off cooldown, and I highly recommend running it with the resourceful star card to further cut recharge time. As with most abilities that you can build around when deploying a trooper, having an officer back you up with recharge command will easily double the effectiveness of this ability. Now let's look at a few tips for actually using the Ion Torpedo. As mentioned, cover is key. You stand almost stationary when firing, and although locking on will allow you to fire all 3 shots, the lock-on process and the small delay before each shot is fired means you will be vulnerable for an extended period of time to enemy infantry. Luckily, you do have impressive range on this thing, so you will often be able to find a safe perch from which to unload. In much the same way, consider the cover that your enemies that you're targeting have. It is easy for an AAT or such to move behind a wall or some ruins just before your shot hits home, so wait until they are way out in the open for a chance at maximum damage. Speaking of damage, remember that many vehicles have weak spots, usually in the back, that if struck will allow you to deal much higher damage per shot. This is difficult to capitalize on given the auto-tracking nature of your projectile. However, if you get really close, it might be worth trying to strike the unprotected rear for increased effect. Another thing to note is that once locked on, each missile that you shoot will head for the same target. This can be a problem when you are trying to shoot targets near a large MTT or AT-AT, in which case your torpedo might be locked to that target instead. If you cancel the lock by releasing your ADS button or trigger, you can aim in again and acquire a new lock, as long as the target that you want to hit is closer than the interfering objective. This target prioritizing can be annoying, but just remember that you will lock on to whatever mechanical target is closest in your field of view, not necessarily the one that you have the crosshairs centered upon. Now, although this ability really does shine in open areas against vehicles, also try and use it down crowded corridors against infantry. You can potentially score some nice and unexpected multi-kills in this manner. To cut a long story short, if you are still annoyed by those Resistance A-Wings bombing the stairs on Starkiller Base, or those A-Wings on Hoth, or you know, any A-Wings at all, because they are really good and awesome starfighter, equip this bad boy and it will solve your A-Wing problem. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more from us here at 4FS Gaming.